Good evening and thanks for joining us on Nationwide today. I am Elizabeth Omori. We begin with security matters. President Muhammad Buhari will on Thursday confer with security chiefs at the presidential villa, Abuja. The president returned to Abuja last Friday after 18 days in London, during which he attended an education summit and did health checks. The security forces have in the past few weeks taken the battle more robustly to insurgents, bandits, and all other criminals troubling the country, and they are now surrendering in droves. The president will be brought up to speed on developments at the Thursday meeting, while plans to bring a decisive end to the challenges will be formulated. Barely 24 hours after the armed bandits' attack on the College of Agriculture and Animal Science, Bakura, the school has been deserted by both staff and students. Jamilu Ibrahim, however, reports that security has been beefed up in the college and its environs as effort is being intensified to ensure safe rescue of the victims.
Of Agriculture and Animal Science Bakura is located about 120 kilometers away from Gusau, Zamfara State capital. Despite the protracted security challenges bedeviling Zamfara State, the school has been relatively peaceful with an uninterrupted academic calendar over the years. But the last Sunday midnight armed bandits attack on the college, which resulted in the killing of a policeman and 2 civilian guards, as well as the abduction of 23 persons, including staff and students, has suddenly changed the narrative.
That invaded the school around 10:30 to 11, and at least spent 2 hours in operation in the college. They are in much number, ranging from 50 to 100. So they started shooting all over the college.
The attack came at a time when the management and students of the college were getting prepared for the semester examinations. Driver of a vehicle that conveyed examinations booklets to the school is one of those abducted by the bandits. The college has now been deserted by both staff and students, while its host community are engulfed in a palpable tension. Meanwhile, security has been built up in the college and its environs, as Zamfara State Police Command says efforts are being intensified to ensure safe rescue of the kidnapped victims. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Zamfara State Governor Bello Mohammed has tasked security operatives to intensify efforts towards the safe rescue of the kidnapped students and staff of the College of Agriculture and Animal Science, Bakura. A statement by the Director General, Media and Communication, Government House Gusau, Yusuf Idris, says the governor is saddened by the attack which is coming at a time when government is strengthening security in schools across the state. The governor, however, eulogizes the timely response of the security personnel to the distress call, which he observed has lessened the intensity of the attack. Governor Mohammed, who sympathized with family of the slain victims and those in captivity, enjoined people in the state to remain calm as government is taking decisive steps to restore lasting peace in their states. 186 suspected members of the Boko Haram terrorist group surrendered to troops of Operation Hardin Kai at Forward Operation Base FOB, Ajeri in Borno State. A statement by the Director Army Public Relations Brigadier General Onyema Unwachuku said those that surrendered include 67 adult males, 54 adult females, and 65 children. The statement added that on the 15th of August 2021, the theater of Operation Hardin Kai also took custody of additional Boko Haram fighters comprising 4 adult males, 11 adult females, and 18 children from villages who surrendered to troops of 151 Task Force Battalion, Banking Junction in Bama. Brigadier General Onyema notes that the terrorists are overwhelmed with the rapid deflation of their strength and are making desperate efforts to halt the ongoing surrendering of their fighters from the Tumbus and Sambisa axis. Still talking security, the Nigeria police fight against crime and criminality is recording successes with the arrest of 39 suspects for their involvement in armed robbery, kidnapping, gun running, car theft, and other cyber crimes. Francis Form reports.
I buy it from one guy in Jos. I will send him the money and he will bring it to me.
This suspect was arrested with 58 wraps of explosives suspected to be dynamites in Ikom, Cross River State, while trying to traffic the explosives into Cameroon.
He is believed to be working with some secessionist group in Cameroon and this is not his first time of supplying them with dynamites and other arms-related items.
While this 46-year-old operating in Kano, Plateau and Abuja controls multiple gangs whose stock in trade is to hack phone numbers of innocent Nigerians, access their bank details, and withdraw money in their accounts.
I used to reset any SIM that has alert, bank alert. I reset it and steal the money that is in your bank account.
The Nigeria Police Force advised Nigerians to guard their phones jealously.
As soon as your phone is stolen from you, the first thing you do will be to get across to your bank and get them to take necessary action to ensure that these cyber crooks don't use your phone.
13 AK-47 rifles, 2 RPGs, 750 AK live ammunition, 58 wraps of explosives suspected to be dynamites, 157 SIM cards, and 1 trial handset were recovered from the suspects. Francis from NTA News.
Still on crime fighting, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested an alleged notorious job scammer and intercepted a bus conveying more than 100 illegal job seekers to Kaduna. Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila reports that the Corps has also trained its officers and men on basic arm handling to add to its manpower development.
Suspected job racketeers have fallen into NSCDC core net following intelligence report on their way to Kaduna from Abuja for documentation as officers of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps.
And there is a list which we got from the kingpin himself, which contains all their names. So it cannot be a coincidence for some of them that were trying to hide and said they only saw the vehicle going to Kaduna and they just hopped in. The ringleader, we have all the appointment letters, soft copy of all the appointment letters, bearing the names of everybody in that vehicle.
The public is advised to disregard information of any recruitment process that is not from the Corps, cautioning that it's a new trick by criminal elements. Meanwhile, no accidental discharge of bullets were the words of the Commandant General of the NSCDC as he read out a riot act to 276 trainees of the basic arm handling, part of efforts to stay ahead of criminal elements.
We will continue to demonstrate zero tolerance for crime and criminality, and those who take laws into their hands, who bear arms illegally, and who seek to profit from a climate of fear and insecurity will also be dealt with accordingly.
The training is expected to enhance strategic, operational and tactical performance of the Corps in various operations. In Abuja, Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on NTA. Time now to head to Lagos, where Adeola is standing by with some reports for us. Hello, Adeola.
Hello, Elizabeth. Nigeria's oil and gas sector is set to attract further investments and boost investors' confidence in the value chain. Experts in the industry gave the submission on the wake of a presidential asset to the Petroleum Industry Bill. Abolade Salami reports.
A journey of over 20 years on creating a suitable and practicable path for Nigeria's oil and gas industry to have a strong footing in its operations felt the breath of a fresh air with the signing into law of the bill by President Muhammadu Buhari. The law industry players submit will further drive stability and growth in the sector with a view to unbundling the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation.
At least with the signing of this document, there will be a law now that will make Nigeria to effectively carry out her oil and gas activities very well. And for the international oil and gas companies or communities, at least there will be a document for them to look now critically and see how they can come in and contract.
With the objective of the petroleum industry law designed to overhaul and transform the country's main economic resource. Experts say the aspect of the law that allows direct payment of 3% to host communities is a way to solve the numerous neglect suffered in time past by the various oil-rich regions.
I will tell you, the 13% go to the state, and even those, the host communities, the crude oil-bearing communities, don't get a dime out of the 13%. It's not a matter of just going there and seeking borehole. So what the governors are looking for now is that they've lost that access to such an amount of money for political campaign. And one of the factors that I'm looking at, because according to the law, you're going to have oil companies now playing all of this, now being a major player in this fund. And if we have to go by the history of what the oil companies can bring to the table, it's left for the communities to come and say, this is how we want our community to look in 10 years. And you draw up a plan.
While the country celebrates the passage of the bill into law, experts have called for full implementation of the petroleum industry law to sustain growth of the sector. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
The federal government and the Central Bank of Nigeria need to introduce pragmatic measures that can ease access to foreign exchange to genuine manufacturers to boost local production and stimulate businesses and the economy. This was part of a 6-point communique issued at the end of the NEC meeting of Association of Senior Civil Servants in Nigeria in Lagos. Imolia Yotokede Ogunfowora has details.
National President, Association of Senior Civil Servants in Nigeria, Tommy Okon, said accessibility of forex by manufacturers must be prioritized in view of the critical role they play, not only in local production of goods, but also in job creation, especially at a time the country is making efforts to get the youth gainfully employed.
If there's a local production of goods and services, you find out that it stimulates the business and the informal economy will also boom.
The association also drew the attention of the federal government to an urgent need to restore the payment of gratuity to public service employees in the country. They lamented that since the Pension Reform Act 2004 was enacted, payment of gratuity has been facing series of challenges.
Pension is paid monthly. Gratuity is a lump sum that you are given in appreciation. So once you give that, the issue of shouting for pension delayed and so on will be checkmated, because that will stabilize any worker in order to plan for his pension.
Among other issues discussed by the union are insecurity, the state of the naira, and the need to strengthen the association in pursuit of members' welfare. They also called for improvement in the general living condition of the people. In Lagos, Imolia Ayotukide Ogunfowora, NTA News.
It's time for us.
Thanks for staying with the NTA. Being the first to establish a national platform on cross-border program in the ECOWAS sub-region, Nigeria is building on the successes it is gaining on the vision to combat terrorism and other trans-border organized crimes. Foreign Desk correspondent Usman Aliu now reports.
Leaders of ECOWAS believe that cross-border cooperation is superior to unilateral action in the development of regions and the facilitation of much-desired integration. Well, that's their consensus at their high-level engagements, as explained by the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs at the inauguration of Nigeria's cross-border program.
In spite of the various policies that tend to emphasize the primacy of borders as barriers to regional integration, Nigeria has spared no effort in bringing its neighbors together in the region and giving leadership by example in trans-border management. I'm happy that Nigeria, as you've heard from ECOWAS itself, is the first to actually launch this platform.
The benefits of this new plan are enormous.
Nigeria is a powerhouse of ECOWAS, and most of the corridors that involve Nigeria, like the Maradi Katsina corridor, or the semi-Krake corridor are some of the major corridors that we have in West Africa. The volume of goods and services and movement of people within the corridors is very, very enormous, and it's very significant whenever we are taking the statistics of the economy of the region.
With this cooperation with our neighbors, it will help to ensure security and management of borders for the benefit of Nigeria and her neighbors.
The Cross-Border Cooperation Support Program 2021-2025 is expected to consolidate on the relations between Nigeria and her neighbors. Usman Aliu, NTA News.
Now, how realistic are the budgeting parameters when compared with global and local economic indices? These are some of the areas of concern as the executive and legislature assess projections on expenditure and fiscal strategies from 2022 to 2024. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports on the House of Representatives public hearing on MTEF and FSP.
The Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy Paper 2022 to 2024, detailing basic estimates and assumptions for the budget for the next 3 years on the 8th of July 2021. This interaction, which involves 83 ministries, departments and agencies of government with the House Committee on Finance, is to ensure that all options on the table are fine-tuned to absorb economic shocks and other dynamics, whether imminent or unexpected. The aim is to ensure that robust development plans do not suffer distractions during implementation, as is the experience due to COVID-19 pandemic.
Let no one be in doubt of our commitment as the Ninth House of Representatives to live up to that responsibility by exercising the full extent of our authority as it relates to the appropriations process and oversight.
I therefore advise to scale down on what elephant projects contained in our budget proposals as a way of shoring up revenue for critical infrastructure and development of capital resources that have direct impact on the people.
The total fiscal deficit that we had in the 2021 budget is 4.891 trillion. This is slightly higher than the 4.64 trillion that we are projecting in 2022. So when you look at the MTEF, you find that the deficit is beginning to decline from 2022 right through to 2023 and 2024.
The forum will enable exchange of ideas and bring to the surface underlying challenges in the overall performance of the economy across sectors.
Much as we have been conservative in projecting revenues, we still see that we are underperforming in revenues. So it means we are relying increasingly on borrowing to finance the activities of government.
More MDAs will make an appearance before the committee as the October timeline of budget presentation draws near. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
To export matters, the Nigeria Export Promotion Council has challenged micro, small and medium enterprises to leverage on emerging markets to export their goods to other African markets, as the council has a conducive environment for non-oil exports. This was during a 5-day face-to-face workshop with entrepreneurs on ways to export within the African Continental Free Trade Area. Comfort Amodu reports.
Players like Obianuju Okbo and other manufacturers of made-in-Nigerian goods are striving to expand their businesses to emerging markets within the African Continental Free Trade Area, while also striving to break even in Nigeria.
70% of the raw material that we intend to export is local. So can you imagine having people help us build up to 7 tons a month?
It could be better if we have international certifications, because with international certifications we'll be able to compete with other countries.
We needed to actually spend time to convince people to buy made in Nigeria. But today, I think the attitude of Nigerians are changing.
This 5-day interactive session with the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Afrexim Bank and the International Trade Center is to equip Obianuju Okbo and other small-scale business owners with innovation and strategies to industrialize. The facilitators say such knowledge and exposure will boost Nigerians' production and export capacity to a level comparable to other regions across the globe.
The good thing is that Nigerians are now realizing the potential they have. And so they're transforming the product. People are transforming ginger, raw ginger into ginger oil, oil and all those other byproducts from ginger. That is a milestone. That is, we are moving.
If we can process more, build our economies of scale, our manufacturing capacities, and also identify markets.
The African Continental Free Trade Area, currently in the second phase of its implementation, is geared towards attaining 15 to 25% growth in the intra-African trade by 2040 and $3.4 trillion increase in African GDP purchasing power parity in 2030. In Abuja, Comfort Amadu, NTA News.
Frama in Jos has the next set of reports for us on Nationwide. Nice to see you, Frama.
Thanks, Lizzie, and welcome to Jos. The Progressive Governors Forum, led by its chairman and governor of Kebbi State, Atiku Abubakar Bagudu, has condoled with Governor Simon Lalong in Jos over the recent attacks which led to loss of lives. Priscilla Grumnan reports.
On the delegation were governors of Jigawa and Yobe states to convey the forum's sadness over the security challenges disrupting the peace of the state. Chairman of the forum expressed concern over the recent attacks that led to loss of lives, in spite the efforts of government to entrenching peace in the state.
To commiserate with him, to offer encouragement, and to pray for all those innocent souls who have lost their lives and their families, and to encourage you to be steadfast on that source, that path of search for peace.
Governor Simon Lalong describes the visit by his colleagues as encouraging, saying government remains committed to its constitutional duty of safeguarding lives and property of citizens. He thanked the federal government for the deployment of the intelligence response team to the state to restore normalcy.
We've done some arrests too, and we are waiting for calm, and we will start prosecution of all the people that were arrested. There was also some rescue of so many of those people.
The Progressives Governors Forum then announced a donation of 30 million naira to assist victims of the attacks. In Jos, Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, says the dynamism of the security situation in the country calls for concerted efforts and experience of serving personnel and retired officers to curtail the crisis. He stated this in a message to a workshop organized by the 3 Division headquarters of the Nigerian Army, Maxwell Kobe Cantonment, Rukuba, Jos. Grace Akwagotip has details.
The Chief of Army Staff represented expressed concern over security situations in some parts of the country, saying the Army thought it wise to tap from the experience of veterans and enlighten them on contemporary security issues for them to contribute to the safety of the society.
The center is aimed at broadening the knowledge of Nigerian Army veterans on their important role in Nigerian national security. This is in line with my desire to uplift the standard of both serving and retired personnel while diligently performing our constitutional role of securing the nation.
Similarly, the General Officer commanding 3 Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Ali, explained that more knowledge is required from all Nigerians to tackle rising and challenging face of criminality in the country.
It would also provide an opportunity to get feedbacks on the veterans' welfare issues while affording participating service personnel the opportunity to prepare adequately for a life after service. The need to harness the potential of retired and discharged personnel to enhance national security is paramount.
The workshop has as its theme the role of Nigerian Army veterans in Nigerian security architecture. In Jos, Grace Akwegoti, NTA News.
That's it from Jos. Nationwide continues with Elizabeth in Abuja.
Thank you, Frama. Now let's talk politics and governance. The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, caretaker and extraordinary convention planning committee, Governor Maimala Boni, has approved the party's National Campaign Council for the 2021 Anambra governorship election. The National Campaign Council has Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma as the chairman and Governor of Ebonyi State David Umahi as deputy chairman. Meanwhile, the Director General of the APC Governors Forum, Saliu Mohammed Lukman, wants APC as part of its vision to prioritize the development of initiatives towards improving relationship with the Nigerian civil society. In a statement, Saliu Lukman said developing improved relations with Nigerian civil societies should be part of the strategic goal of developing Nigeria's democracy and ensuring that Nigerian politics has been refined and new democratic frontiers which should promote engagements between Nigerian government and citizens are created. The APC Governors Forum Director General said the National Orientation Agency should develop a strategy to enhance the processes of political leadership recruitment in the country. INEC and political parties have been advised to fully implement the national policy on gender to encourage women participate in politics. This was at a conference organized by the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies and other partners in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
Results. So,
women in politics, 39% participation, 5% representation. An unappreciable figure that places Nigeria as 181 out of 193 countries in terms of women presence in the National Assembly. 2023 elections are approaching, so meeting rooms are busy to come up with an agenda to engage INEC and political parties for more relevance.
Because there are adequate legislation in the country to encourage women participation, and even within the political parties,
that there should be a number of seats reserved for women at the National Assembly.
We are trying as much as possible to see how we engage women more robustly, more closely, more inclusively, so that we involve in other men.
Nocturnal meetings also a disincentive.
In our culture, we know very well that women are not expected to come back very late at home. And that is why most marriages spark up when women become very actively involved in politics. And we know that when they don't turn up for this night meeting, that's when important decisions are taken. So they are just left off. They should hold their meetings when it's reasonable for a married woman to be out of her home.
Democratic practice is not something that should be monetized.
Well-articulated positions, still subject to legislative endorsement and some level of cooperation from their menfolk. Mia Ogidi, NTA News.
In other news, the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission is partnering Voice of Nigeria in a public-private partnership as a mechanism to enhance infrastructural development in the country. Adebola Brookston Sunday was there and now reports.
From the National Infrastructure Development Master Plan shows that Nigeria requires about $3 trillion to bridge the infrastructure deficit in the country over the next 30 years. It is in line with the mandate of the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, ICRC, that the management is partnering with Voice of Nigeria in advocacy for Nigerians to embrace the public-private partnership for the growth of the nation's economy.
ICRC in April gazetted 51 projects worth over $17 billion in total. This list contained the project from different economic sectors.
Director General, Voice of Nigeria, Osita Okechukwu said the focus on infrastructural development by the present administration will help the nation's population growth.
Well, when Mr. President paid emphasis to infrastructure, a lot of people started saying no. But when they get back to their villages or homes, they will see that those roads that decayed over the years, Mr. President had paid attention in putting the little fund that came his way in trying to return our infrastructure on rail, roads, and agriculture.
Mr. Michael Ohiani also spoke on the development in the oil and gas sector.
We are currently working with NNPC so that there will be free flow of oil to the refinery. That will minimize transportation of crude on the road.
Addressing Nigeria's physical infrastructure deficits, which hampers economic development, is the core mandate of the Commission. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
And it's time to stop by in Ibadan, where Lanre is standing by with some reports for us on Nationwide. Hello, Lanre.
Good to see you, Elizabeth, and welcome to Ibadan. Yobe State Governor and National Chairman Convention Planning Committee of the All Progressives Congress, May Malabuni, and other party chieftains paid a condolence visit on Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun over the death of his father. Yemi Dalimo reports.
The Yobe State Governor and National Chairman of the All Progressive Congress Caretaker Committee, Mai Malabuni, Ijigawa and Kebbi State counterpart Abubakar Atiku Bagudu and Muhammad Abubakar, accompanied by other party faithful, urged Governor Abiodun to take solace in the fact that death is inevitable outcome of the living. He said the delegation came to deliver the condolence message of the all members of the party, assuring the governor that members of the party are with him and share in his grief at this critical period.
And to also extend to you the condolences of all the APC members across the country.
Receiving the visitor, Governor Abiodun noted that the visit was a balm that will help him soothe the family in this trying period. He said his late father believed that life was transient, urging all to make the best of their time while on earth, as each and every one will give account of his or her stewards before their maker.
We've been overwhelmed by the outpouring of affection, and messages by our people across the length and breadth of this country.
Other Nigerians who commiserated with the Abiodun's family is the wife of the former president, Mrs. Bola Obasanjo, in Abeokuta, Yemi Dalimo, NTA News.
The long vacation for many parents and guardians come with the challenge of boredom and idle children in and around the home. Experts, however, believe that engaging children meaningfully is highly beneficial to both parents and society at large. Omokende Igbari tells us more.
It is the time of the year again when primary and secondary schools pupils and students are on long end of academic year vacation in preparation for the new academic session. True to the saying that idle hands are the devil's workshop, the questions that comes to mind is how can these young ones be engaged meaningfully?
They can engage them in all these skills or crafts, at least to learn one thing or the other, like bead making, soap making.
I will learn work, and after that, I will be preparing for my exam because of next year.
In the same vein, an educationist at the University of Ibadan underscores the importance of meaningful engagement of children during the holidays.
This has to do with the fact that, one, such parents are busy. For the fact that are busy, they don't want to leave the children at home just like that, roaming, or probably not under their control. For that very reason, many parents enroll their children in lessons.
It's enough fact that all hands must be on deck for all parents, especially mothers, to nurture and take care of their children now that they are on long vacation in the face of all the challenges in the country. In Ibadan, Omokende Igbari, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. More reports after this break with Asmao in Sokoto.
Out the greatest asset the country has at the moment, it is therefore not surprising.
Good evening and welcome to Sokoto on Nationwide. Security operatives in the country have been challenged not to bring politics into their official duties. Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar threw the challenge when he received the newly posted commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense School, Sokoto, on courtesy visit at the palace. Sheikh Muhammad Deti reports.
It is customary for new heads of security personnel posted to Sokoto to pay homage to the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar. Newly posted commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense School, Muhammad Saleh Dada, is not exceptional as he pays visit to the Sultan. While appreciating the warm reception accorded him, the commandant described traditional institutions as engine rooms for many national and local assignments. The security head seeks the Sultan's support and contribution to carry out his duty diligently.
This institution is what translates to our being. We look up to the institution for guidance.
Sultan Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar expressed the belief that the commandant has enough to offer for betterment of security in the state. He described security as everybody's business, calling on the commandant to carry everyone along.
We assure you of our total support. We urge you to feel free to always calm down whenever there's an issue that you want to straighten up with us.
The Sultan also received the Zonal Commander of the Federal Fire Service. The Zonal Commander Zone H. Ahmad Garbak Arai is in charge of Sokoto, Kebbi, and Zamfara states. While highlighting the successes and challenges in the zone, Arai informed the Sultan that fire outbreaks have reduced drastically. He also informed the Sultan of the new firefighting trucks and ambulances given the 3 states of the zone. The Sultan appreciated the head office for the facilities, calling for the supply of more state-of-the-art equipment. He assured of the Sultanate support and contribution to the service at all times. In Sokoto, Shehu Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
In an effort to boost cassava production and attain the federal government policy on national food security and self-sufficiency, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture has donated cassava processing equipment worth millions of naira to the Kebbi State cassava farmers. Handing over the equipment to the State Ministry of Agriculture, the State Director, Federal Ministry of Agriculture, Kebbi State, Abdullahi Shehu, said it is a deliberate effort to address the inadequacy of agro-processing equipment and employment generation in the state. Osman Abdullahi Shehu has more.
The equipment are different types of machines for cassava processing into finished products. Presenting the machines, the Director of Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Engineer Abdullahi Shehu, acknowledged President Muhammadu Buhari and Governor Atiku Bagudu's effort in ensuring that Nigeria did not experience food shortage in spite of last year's flood disaster and COVID-19 pandemic, emphasizing that the equipments are meant to promote agro-business, enhance food production, value addition, and employment generation.
I will also want to solicit from the state government to replicate this equipment in all the cassava producing area in the state in order to add value to cassava production and employment generation to the team graduates in the state.
The State Commissioner of Agriculture and Rural Development, Alhaji Abdullahi Maigari Kingari, commended the federal government for supporting the Nigerian farmers. Some stakeholders also appreciated the present administration's determination to revive agriculture and deliberate policy of national food self-sufficiency and security. Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Elizabeth in Abuja.
Thank you, Asmao. Now, to COVID-19 containment, the 1.4 million people in Nigeria awaiting the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine shot can now complete the vaccination as the federal government takes delivery of 699,760 doses donated by the government of the United Kingdom. Uche Ogochukwu has details.
This second batch of 699,760 doses is part of the 3 million doses donated by the United Kingdom to 11 African countries.
We have restructured our health and development programming to support Nigeria's response to COVID. And we continue to respond to the COVID outbreak, working in close harmony with the relevant elements of the federal government of Nigeria.
All the vaccines that have been received by Nigeria so far have been endorsed by WHO as safe and effective to prevent severe disease, hospitalization, and death.
The vaccine, once certified by NAFDAC, will be deployed